The Indiana Fever just pulled off one of the most crucial moves of the WNBA offseason. And it wasn't flashy, it wasn't a blockbuster trade or a surprising free agent acquisition from another team. No, it was something far more important. Keeping Kelsey Mitchell in a Fever uniform for at least one more season. After weeks of speculation and uncertainty, Mitchell signed a one-year SUPERMAX contract worth over $249,000, making her the highest-paid player on the team and one of the top earners in the entire league. But this wasn't just about the money. This was about loyalty, chemistry, and the future of a franchise that's finally on the rise after years in the wilderness. The question that dominated Fever Nation throughout the early part of the offseason was simple but terrifying. Would Kelsey Mitchell leave? After 7 seasons of dedication to a franchise that hadn't made the playoffs once during her tenure, could anyone blame her if she decided to chase a championship elsewhere? Mitchell had given everything to Indiana, leading the team in scoring for 5 consecutive seasons from 2019 to 2023. And what does she have to show for it? No playoff appearances, no postseason experience, just year after year of rebuilding and waiting for better days that never seemed to come. But then something changed in 2024. The Fever drafted Caitlin Clark with the #1 overall pick, and suddenly everything was different. The team that had been struggling to fill seats was now selling out arenas across the league. The franchise that had been an afterthought was now must-see television. And Kelsey Mitchell, who had been toiling in relative obscurity despite her incredible talent, was finally getting the recognition she deserved. The chemistry between Clark and Mitchell became one of the best stories of the 2024 season. These two guards formed arguably the most dynamic backcourt in the WNBA during the second half of the year. Mitchell averaged 19.2 points per game, her highest ever, while shooting 46.8% from the field and 40.2% from three-point range. Those weren't just good numbers. They were career best numbers. And it wasn't a coincidence that they came in Clark's rookie season. The connection between these two players went beyond just scoring. According to advanced stats, Clark's effective field goal percentage jumped to 52.7% when playing with Mitchell on the court. Without Mitchell, that number dropped to just 47.4%. Mitchell had 13 assists to Clark throughout the season, the most of any Fever player. Meanwhile, Clark dished out 50 assists to Mitchell, second only to her connection with Aaliyah Boston. They made each other better, and more importantly, they made the Fever better. For the first time since 2016, the Fever made the playoffs. For the first time in her 7-year career, Kelsey Mitchell finally experienced postseason basketball. And she didn't just participate, she thrived. The team's late-season surge, going 7-1 after the Olympic break, showed everyone what this core could become. Indiana even finished with a winning record for the first time in 5 years. The dark days were finally over, and Mitchell was a massive part of making that happen. But would it be enough to keep her? As free agency approached, Fever fans held their breath. The front office, led by President of Basketball Operations, Kelly Crosskop, knew exactly what was at stake. Crosskop, who had actually been with the organization when they drafted Mitchell back in 2018, had even scouted her in person before the draft. She remembered calling then-coach Pokey Chapman to tell her about the young guard she was watching. "I'm watching our draft pick right now. I mean, she's going to be a star," Crosskop had said. Now, 7 years later, Crosskop's first major move since returning to run the Fever involved Mitchell once again. In mid-January, the Fever made their intentions crystal clear by designating Mitchell as a core player. This is a significant move in the WNBA. The core designation gives a team exclusive negotiating rights with the player in exchange for offering them a SUPERMAX contract. For Mitchell, This meant a guaranteed $249,244 offer for the 2025 season, making her the second highest paid guard in the league behind only Jackie Young of the Las Vegas Aces, who earns $252,450 annually. The core designation essentially prevented Mitchell from testing free agency. Had she been allowed to hit the open market, she would have been the top name available for any team looking for backcourt help. Teams across the league would have lined up to sign a proven scorer who had just posted the best season of her career. But the Fever weren't going to let that happen. They cored her, locking in their exclusive rights to negotiate. If Mitchell wanted to play elsewhere, she would have had to orchestrate a sign and trade, which is far more complicated than simply signing as a free agent. So what made Mitchell ultimately decide to stay? According to Mitchell herself, it came down to several factors. Family played a huge role. Mitchell wanted to be close to home, and Indianapolis provided that opportunity. She also spoke about the growth she'd seen in the organization and the chemistry building with her teammates. "I think right time and right place," Mitchell said when discussing her decision. "I put in some work with the ladies only a year ago. Obviously, changes were made. I think there was a lot of good basketball played, and I think that I want to try it again." The arrival of new head coach Stephanie White also likely played a factor. White replaced Christy Sides in November, bringing fresh energy and a new vision to the team. White had been watching Mitchell's journey since her college days and had always admired her work ethic and approach to the game. "I have watched her journey from the sidelines since her time in college and have always admired her work ethic, approach to the game, and the way she interacts with her teammates," White said after Mitchell's signing. "I can't wait to work with her on a daily basis." When Mitchell returned to Indianapolis to officially sign her contract, she was greeted by dozens of Fever employees at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. It was a moment that showed how much she meant to the organization. This wasn't just another player signing another contract. This was the franchise showing appreciation for someone who had stayed loyal through the darkest times and was now reaping the rewards of that loyalty. The numbers speak to Mitchell's importance to the franchise. She ranks second all-time in Fever history in points scored with 3,923, second in three-pointers made with 558, and fourth all-time in assists with 649. She's appeared in over 200 games and logged more than 7,000 minutes in a Fever uniform. She's a two-time All-Star, earning selections in both 2023 and 2024. This isn't just any player. This is a franchise cornerstone, someone who has been through everything with this organization. But perhaps the most compelling reason for Mitchell to stay was the relationship she built with Caitlin Clark. Mitchell has spoken glowingly about her Wiki teammate, calling her one of the greatest people in the world and crediting her with opening doors for everyone on the team. "You get Caitlin, who changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball," Mitchell said. "And as a friend and as a player, you've got to appreciate her because certain doors have opened because she has come to the Fever. And you have to respect that. And I love the teammate and person in her." With Mitchell locked in, the Fever now have their core three secured for 2025. Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston. This is one of the most exciting young cores in the entire WNBA. Clark brings the playmaking and star power. Boston provides the interior presence and defensive anchor. And Mitchell delivers the veteran scoring punch and leadership. Together, they form a foundation that could compete for championships for years to come. The one-year nature of Mitchell's contract is worth noting. Most WNBA free agents sign one-year deals this offseason because the league and players' union are negotiating a new collective bargaining agreement for 2026 and beyond. This means Mitchell could theoretically become a free agent again next year. However, the Fever could use the core designation on her again if needed. More likely, both sides will work out a longer-term deal once the new CBA is in place and the financial landscape of the league is clearer. For Fever fans, Mitchell's return means stability and continuity. It means the backcourt that became so dangerous in the second half of 2024 will have a chance to grow even more in 2025. It means the culture and chemistry that finally started to develop last season won't be disrupted. And most importantly, it means the Fever are serious about building a championship contender, not just a flash-in-the-pan playoff team. The front office's decision to prioritize Mitchell sent a clear message. They value loyalty, they understand chemistry, and they're willing to pay top dollar to keep their core together. Krauskuff said it best when the signing was announced. Kelsey has been a foundation of our franchise for many years, and we are thrilled to see her return to the Fever. We value Kelsey's commitment to our organization, and we're excited to see her build off a phenomenal 2024, her best season yet. Kelsey Mitchell bet on herself by staying in Indiana through the rebuilding years. She remained loyal when she could have requested a trade. She led by example when the wins weren't coming. And now, in 2025, she's reaping the rewards. A SUPERMAX contract, an all-star teammate in Caitlin Clark, a revitalized franchise, and a legitimate shot at competing for a championship. This wasn't just a re-signing. This was validation. This was justice. And for Fever fans, this was everything they needed to believe that the future is bright in Indianapolis.